is the data mining. Actual data mining means identifying the patterns. So there are 3 or 4 different type of patterns that we will be looking at. Is one is the classification. So the classification problem is in a given set of the records, there are set of attributes which is relevant to a class. For example, classification of peoples as either persons who are going to like, or the persons who are going to share, or persons who are going to purchase or not purchase, or just scroll through. So basically they based on the attributes, they classify them as something, right? So that's the nature of the classification. So we want to find a model for a class attribute, so that the as a function of the other values. So we want to record, we want to identify a classification in the data set, and the goal here is to identify the unseen records which should be assigned as a class. So the example of classification basically is, you can say if somebody is going to default on a credit card or not, right? So that is a classification problem. So you are trying to based on certain attributes, you will be trying to identify whether they will default or they will not default. For example, in this few attributes, there are some classification that we want to identify that this particular transaction would be a cheat or would not be a cheat. So based on the different taxable income, based on their marital status, whether they have claim a refund or not, whether and it was a cheat or not cheat, that is the sum attribute. So the sum attributes, you can say, okay, maybe the taxable income, you will see most of the cheaters are 95, between 89, between 80,000 to 90,000. So 95,000, 85,000, and 90,000. So between 85,000 to 95,000. If somebody is above that, they are not cheating. If somebody is below that, they are not cheating. So that's one criteria. Then how many of them are single and married? So divorced is a cheater, married single is a cheater, single is a cheater. So means if somebody is married, is not going to cheat. That's one of the classification. So this way we are trying to identify based on these attributes whether the transaction would be a cheat or not a cheat. So the process is to use this training set and try to create a classifier model. And once that model is available, then you want to test the model on certain actual transactions. So these transactions are maybe actual, but we know the results, but we want to test our model on this sample data, so that we can test if we are able to predict correctly or not correctly, right? So for example, if it's a single and 75,000, what do you think? He will cheat or not cheat? Based on our efforts that we have seen, the cheaters are either single or divorced, and they are earning between 85,000 to 90,000, right? So that is the and more, all of them have no refund case. So in this case, no refund case, marital status is single, which is one of the attributes, but income level is less, so maybe it's not a cheat. So that's the way you want to test. So it's a very simple example of a classifier. We just try to classify the cheaters based on their two variables. So there may be more if we have more data, then we will be able to create a bit more better classifier. But that is one process to identify the classifier. So once you identify the classifier, you put that into a testing set. Once you put into a testing set, then you will be able to check if this is working or not working, right? So that is the way how the actual data mining works. These are only 10 transactions, but normally it happens on thousands of transactions, so that you have a better model, but the process remains the same. Now how you can apply, where you are going to apply this classification classifier, where you can use, you can use them in your direct marketing. So how you are going to use that in direct marketing? You want to identify the customers who are going to either buy or not buy based on their attributes. maybe based on their past records, maybe based on their past behavior, whether they purchased similar products in the past, or how they have responded to similar marketing messages in the past. So these are some of the examples how you can use the classification problem. So the goal is reduce the cost of mailing by targeting a set of customers who are likely to buy a new cell phone product, right? Because direct marketing has a cost, the mailing has a cost. Even if you are selling by email also comes with a cost, especially when you are sending to 10,000 strong database, where you may have to pay to a third party for delivering the messages. Or if you are sending the direct post by a physical post, then definitely there is a stamp duty and there is a cost to it, right? So you don't want to send to the customers who you think are not going to buy the product. So how you are going to identify that? So you would probably try to identify a similar product introduced before, maybe a similar cell phone or similar other things, either by the company or by another company. And then you will see which of the customers have decided not to buy the phone based on what attribute. So then the decision forms a class attribute, and you will look at their other demographics, right? The demographic, lifestyle, company interaction together with them of all those customers who did not buy from you. And then you will try to understand what are the attributes, what are the characteristics of those peoples who are not buying from you, right? And then you will not send a direct mailer to them because you don't want to waste your money and you don't want to waste your efforts. So that's the example of the direct marketing. So is there any question on classification problem? Is it clear? Simple, right? Yeah. So what else? Where else you think